Bring in now Congressman James Clyburn. As a matter of fact, he's been, looking very closely at this, and I'm sure that he may have some historical perspective to give us on this. And Congressman, what a pleasure to have you on the program. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
What is your overall reaction to what we've seen? And even, we're seeing now that there is a drip, drip, drip of information coming out. This morning we find out the name of the police officer. What is your reaction to what's been happening in Ferguson over the course now of almost a week?
Well, I've been very hurt by all of this. A lot of us have been saying for some time now that there's a certain amount of retrenchment taking place in the country. Those of us who are products of the 1960s and 50s, for that matter, really were hopeful that we put things like this behind us forever. But we notice with the recent Supreme Court decisions, recent efforts at the state and local levels to turn the clock back on voter participation and other kinds of suppressive legislation designed to suppress a group of people. People tend to react to the actions. I was not a good physics guy, but I remember some of the principles of physics and how people and things react. And so people are reacting to this show of force, this disrespect that seemed to be very prevalent there in that community. It didn't start with this. This seems to be to have been going on for some time. People of color running for office and being defeated by racialized voting. And some of this must be laid at the doorsteps of those of us who are interested in this. I've been talking with the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Marcia Fudge. We are going to really look in to what the Congressional Black Caucus can do at the local level, going in there with our Congressional Black Caucus Institute and probably having some discussions with local communities, helping them to get organized, helping them to understand the relationship between the treatment they get from elected officials and their participation in the electoral process. That participation seems to be very low in that area. The people are there, but for some strange reason, they are not participating, and we've got to do something about that because we are not going to solve these problems if we stay out of the arena.
Yeah, and you couldn't have said it any more eloquently. The fact is that people in a democracy need to participate in order for their voices to have more weight. But the question is, and I'd like your thoughts on this, because I always see as though it takes someone to die before that local community that has a suffering that they're dealing with can be listened to, and it takes someone to die in order for us to have this national discourse,
Yeah, that's what it seems. I was thinking this morning about all of this rhetoric about being tough on crime. There's one thing to be tough on crime. I'm tough on crime, but it's something else to be death on blacks. And that's what seems to be happening. When I think about the chokehold up in New York, a guy crying out for 10 or 11 times that I can't breathe, and with 3 or 4 other people piled on top of him, the police officer could not find the wisdom to stop choking the guy until he could not breathe anymore. To me, that's deliberate. And we have to look at this. A lot of bad people carrying badges. Most of them are good people. And I support
That's right.
Police officers. But we've got to find a way to weed these people out. I'm very glad that the name has now come forward, because we need to know whether or not this guy was acting the way he had acted before, whether or not this is some kind of a pattern or just something that happened. But all of these things we've got to take into account. We just cannot let Ferguson be just another statistic. We got to get involved. Hopefully this will jumpstart a movement that will have people all over this country taking a hard look at their communities, the treatment they're getting from elected officials, and whether or not that is going to start them to participating at a greater level as we go forward.
Congressman Clyburn, thank you so much